Hi, everyone. So nice to see you coming in. Thanks for being here with us. We're going to let a few more people come in from the waiting room and then we'll get started. Awesome. I love when those little blocks on my screen start opening up. It's wonderful. I like seeing faces of people that I know and new friends, so that's really great. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
Whew. Alana, we can make that happen. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm Joy Brand Richardson. I'm happy to be the person who helps organize some of these peer community convenings. I'm the Vice President of Professional Development at JCC Association. I have shoulder-length brown hair and I'm wearing glasses. And I'm joined by my colleagues from JCC Association. Sawyer Schwartz is here from our talent team, and Randy Ellen Ludeman is our Vice President of Professional Development and Arts and Culture. And when we do these gatherings, we like to bring people together. We're happy that you're here. We encourage you to remind your colleagues that there's dozens of these peer communities that they can join. We start our convenings with some guiding principles. We understand that there may be people who are new to their role and those of you who have been doing this for many, many years. And each of us brings wisdom and ideas to the conversations. And we hope that you'll be respectful and ask questions. And each person is approached with kindness and respect. And we're recording, so we will be posting this on the JCC Resource Center. I'd like to introduce you to Seth and Rick. They are the volunteer co-chairs of this peer community. Rick is the development director at the Meyerson JCC in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Seth is the chief development officer at the Oshman Family JCC in Palo Alto, California. Thank you to both Rick and Seth for stepping up into this role as peer community chairpeople. We're looking for people who may want to do the same thing and be chairs for the 2025 sessions. So please be in touch with me if you'd like to volunteer and help us out. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to Seth, who is going to start us off.
Thank you, Joy. Nice to see you all this morning or this afternoon, wherever you might be. And we thought we'd start with something a little light and fun, and that's a little Kahoot quiz game. So I put in the chat some instructions, and I'm going to share my screen, which will include a QR code that you can scan as well. And I recommend you use your phone for this. Your phone is your remote for your game, and hopefully we'll have some fun. The I'll give you a few minutes to get logged in. The grand prize for the winner of the Kahoot is 2 tickets to the annual, which is the big community gathering that we do here in Palo Alto. It's replaced our gala fundraising. This will be our 4th year. And for those of you who are in the Western region, we're doing the Western region conference, JCCA conference, and that will line up with the annual. So that's an add-on. You could choose to participate in co-creation for the annual as part of the Western Regional, or you just fly into Palo Alto and have a weekend in the Bay Area. So good luck, everybody. Is there anyone who is not yet in the Kahoot? I can't see everybody, unfortunately. So let me see if there's a better way to do this. Get you all back here. Okay, here we go. All right. Hold on, I got a little in the chat here.
If you could put that back into the chat for people who joined after it was posted, then you could.
Doing it. I'm doing that right now.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep, done.
Okay, can you see it on the screen too?
Yes,
All right,
we
great.
see all the people who have logged on already.
Yes, a lot of people are in the game. Great. Okay, so give it in about another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get started here.
You should know as you wait, Seth, that some people are a little concerned that airfare is not included. Just saying.
That is That is true.
For
That is
those of
true.
you who are just joining us, we've got a game show going on here, and you can log into Cahoots by clicking on that QR code and then using that ID.
One of today's topics will be how to convince your CEO to pay for your airfare. Okay, so I guess we'll get started. And anybody want to make a plea to wait one more 30 seconds?
You're good.
Speak now. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me get a little sound for you here. Can you all hear that? No? Yes? Okay. All right, here we go. Which of the following is not a 2025 fundraising trend?
There's your answer.
You've got 10 seconds to select your answer on your phone. All right. So we had 9 people answer. So the rest of you, you got to be a little quicker. And anybody want to take a guess here? Events, not a fundraising trend in 2025. Digital wallets, artificial intelligence, and hyper personalization. So JBG, you're in the lead. Okay, so if you've never played Kahoot before, one of the measures here is speed. So the faster you answer, the higher your score is. Okay, so everybody else, now's your chance to catch up. Hyper-personalization of donor experiences will become crucial. Fundraisers will use AI and data analytics to tailor donor journeys based on interest, behaviors, giving history, and sentiment. Okay, here we go. Next question. How many people walk through the doors of JCCs across the country every week? Is it 50,000, 500,000, 1.5 million, or 100 million? Give you a little extra time on this one. All right, and the answer is 1.5 million. 12 people got it right. Good job. Oh, JBG. What happened? Judy? Okay, Cambria in the lead. Well done. Michaela number 2, Mary number 3, close. Sawyer is fighting for third place right now, as is Lindsay. Here we go. Next question, number 5, 15 questions. World's largest foundation, is it the Harold Grinspoon Foundation, the Helen Diller Family Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or the Novo Nordisk Foundation? And if you've received money from one of these foundations, let us know how you did it. All right, well, nobody got it right. It's the Novo Nordisk Foundation. That's the world's largest foundation. So no changes in the scoreboard. 70.8 billion in assets for Novo Nordisk as of December 2021. Gates is the largest US foundation with 55 billion in assets. So a little bit of a trick question there. Okay, next question. What year was Giving Tuesday launched? Giving Tuesday, launched by JCC, by the way, if you don't know that. 1979, 1995, 2012, or 2024? Is this the first year of Giving Tuesday? You all know it's not. And yes, the answer is 2012. 17 people got that right. Oh, new leader, Nick. Nick and Pros jumping into the lead. 1 point separating you. All right. Not too late. Don't give up. If you're behind, you've got a bunch of questions to catch up. So stay in the game. Okay, this one is a slider. What percent of donors say they would give a larger gift in the next appeal if thanked properly and personally? They just move that slider back and forth and find the right spot, somewhere between 30 and 80%. I hope you like the graphics, the animations here.
58%. Nope.
There we go, 65%. Anybody get that right? Two people. Nice. Okay. We have an update to the scoreboard. Lindsay in the lead now. Nick holding on to second. Pros in third. Mare and is that Roxanne? Did you leave an X out of your name? All right. Next question, number 9 of 15. Which of the following reasons was selected by 97% of donors as a reason I give? Desire to make an impact, alignment with values, emotional satisfaction, trust in the organization, or sense of belonging. 97% of donors selected which of these as the reason I give? All right, well, 11 people, the majority, the top answer, desire to make an impact. I think we probably all agree these are all important, but desire to make an impact is number one. So when you're thinking about your end of year appeals, if you're still working on those, something to think about in your appeal. Is anybody having fun?
I'm having fun.
Has anybody dropped off of the call yet? Okay, next scoreboard update. Lindsay in the lead. Charlotte has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. Go Charlotte. Cambria back on the leaderboard. JBG back on the leaderboard. Michaela, 5th place, holding on. Okay, here we go. Question 10 of 15. We're almost 2/3 of the way there. Who is known as the father of modern philanthropy? Is it John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, Bill Gates, or Warren Buffett? That's 10 people got the right answer there. Andrew Carnegie. Lindsay holding on. Charlotte, 4 in a row. Killing it. Michaela, Mayor, Rick. Rick is a new member of the leaderboard. Way to go, Rick. I did not share these questions with Rick in advance, just so you know. He's not cheating. 350 million, nearly 90% of his fortune back in the day, almost $11 billion in today's dollars is Carnegie's gift to philanthropy. He wrote The Gospel of Wealth, where he argued that the wealthy have a moral obligation to distribute their surplus wealth for the greater good of society. All right. Quiz number 12. How much did 2024's popular Ice Bucket Challenge raise for ALS? 2.5, 87 million, 115 million, or over $1 billion? Oh, big distribution there. And 6 of you got it right, 115 million. Did anybody participate in the Ice Bucket Challenge? Did anybody dump ice over their head? For charity, for a good cause. Okay, leaderboard update.
Woohoo!
Ooh, up 8 places. Pros is the highest climber. Not on the leaderboard, unfortunately.
She's from our bunk.
Yeah, moving along here. Michaela, new leader. Cambria up. Lindsay, Charlotte, Rick Lefton still on the leaderboard. Okay, we've got just a few questions to go. 13, 14, 15. True or false? Gen X is the most likely to include a nonprofit in their state plans. Is that true or false? I don't know about you all, but this music is really motivating me.
Yeah.
Right. The answer is false. Bunch of you got that right. It's the baby boomers who are most likely. Michaela in the lead with 5 correct answers in a row. Lindsay, Charlotte, Cambria, Mare. Okay, we're getting down to it here. 2 more questions. This is double points. All right. If you are not on the leaderboard, now's your chance. What percentage of Jewish households donate to charity? 20, 40, 60, or 80%? 3 seconds. The correct answer is 80%. 7 if you got it right. Oh, we got a new leader. Lindsay back on top. Charlotte, Kayla, Michaela, and Cambria. I think the last question is also double points, so still a chance for you. Everybody ready? You got your finger ready to select the right answer? Here we go. I'm gonna wrap it up. This went much faster than I thought it would, so more time for other things. JFNA leads an annual fundraising initiative organized around phonathons. It's called Super Sunday, Super Monday, Super Tuesday, or Super Duper Wednesday. Last question, 1 second. And most people got that one. 18 of you got Super Sunday. Good job. Here we go. The leaderboard, number 3. Oh, Anna Saul jumped onto the leaderboard out of nowhere. Kayla, number 2, and number 1, 7 questions right. Lindsay, nice work. Where's Lindsay? Lindsay, send me your email in the chat if you don't mind, and I'll follow up with you on your prize. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for playing. Hope you learned something, or at least were amused.
Seth, that was fantastic. I wondered if anybody is surprised about anything in particular that we just learned in this fun way. No? I will say out loud, I wasn't surprised at 65% if thanked in personal ways, but I always like hearing the numbers related to personal, careful stewardship of donors, because I think it's often on the list of things we're going to get to off the corners of our desk instead of really taking up a primary place in our relationship building plan and strategy. So I loved that that was in there, Seth. Thank you for that.
Of course. So if anybody has not used Kahoot before, it's a fun tool, as hopefully you experienced. We've used it actually in the pandemic. We used it for some virtual donor events. Just a great way to make it interactive for folks, and we've used it live as well. If anybody wants that Kahoot that we just played, I'm happy to share it. And feel free to make a copy of it and edit it, add questions, take away questions, whatever. Just let me know. Okay, so I think we're gonna move over to some bright spots here. Yeah, is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
We have 3 of our peers who have agreed to share one of their bright spots from 2024 to kind of inspire all of us and give us things to kind of think about as we're planning for 2025. So I'm going to start with Alana McGilpin from the Mandel JCC of Greater Hartford. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, so this year we brought back an event that we hadn't done in 20 years called the Hartford Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And originally it had resided with the Jewish Historical Society in our community and had been going for years and years and years. I'm going to try and share my screen. This was our event that we used. I'm sorry, our invitation. So we actually we inducted 12 adults and 4 high school seniors. We relied on a lot of historical photos from the past just to kind of bring that historical connection back. So many people in our community were inducted from 80, 79 until the late 90s. So we just haven't had the event in a long time. We used it as a fundraiser, big time fundraiser for us. And these were the adults that were inducted. We had a very large committee. We had a fundraising committee. We had a marketing committee. We had a nomination committee. We had a selection committee that came up with all the rules about how people were going to be inducted. So these were the adults that were inducted, and some of them are longtime members of the JCC. Some used to work at the JCC. We had sports team owners, we had athletes, we had Special Olympians, we had some of our staff, and then some people who just weren't connected to the JCC at all. These were the youth award winners. They were all high school seniors in our community that were going on to play college athletics. We described where the funds were going to go to, so that was also nice. These were the sponsor levels that we put out for sponsorships, whether they were individual, business, families. And then, so you can see this is the list of all the former inductees. So it was quite long, and many of these people are not with us anymore. But we did rely on a lot of like family connections and things like that. So it's like kind of like a fundraiser, engagement event, etc. It ended up being like quite awesome, probably more awesome. Oops, sorry, more awesome than maybe we would have thought, but it was just kind of came at the right time. We ended up having around 350 people that attended. I always get confused about this. We grossed, that's the total amount, I think, about $250,000, and the JCC kept 100,000 and the Historical Society kept 50,000. It was I will say it was a huge lift. I know events are out in terms of the trend. We won't do this every year for sure, but it was incredible. These are all the awardees or their family representatives afterwards. We sent out a highlight video. Each inductee made their own video and we edited it. This was our whole like award ceremony photo album, which it was just, people were just having so much fun. It was just joyful Jewish community event. You know, nothing was wrong. We weren't lamenting about anything in the world. Sports is the great kind of thing that brings everybody together. So it was just like really incredible. One of our US senators came. It was just like people were just having a ball. No pun intended. So it was, like I said, it was a big lift, but a big reward. We probably, like I said, won't do this every year. We'll definitely do the youth awards every year. So each class of athletes gets their kind of time in the sun. But it was a great engagement opportunity for not only our donor community, but to really like bring back some donors that haven't supported the JCC in a long time, but felt connected to this because whether it was a family connection or just kind of a sports connection. We also produced a huge ad book. I don't have a link to that, but it was like humongous, and our marketing team did incredible things. Everybody was able to do like an ad for family members, so each one was different. It was just like really, so they're honoring all the honorees or old photos, so it was incredible. So that was definitely a highlight. Like I said, a lot of work, but a lot of reward.
Wow, that looked incredible. Is there an actual display of like a permanent display, like plaques up for these folks at the JCC or at the Historical Society or someplace?
Yeah, so that's how it kind of all started. Our current board chair, like every day when he came into the fitness center, would walk by this big plaque that's by the fitness center of like this Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And he's like, I walk by this every day. Like, what is this? And that's kind of like how the whole thing started. So we are updating it with like all the plaques, and then the Historical Society, part of the funds that they're going to be using is to really update the archives and make something that's a lot more permanent. And so people can access it, even talking about putting all of it online as well.
That's great. I mean, it looks like a great event, very successful, a lot of work. I'm sure we've all hosted events like this, and yeah, I feel for you. That was big, but
It was
very
big.
successful. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
And thanks for sharing with us.
Rick,
Thank
can
you for
I ask
asking.
Alana two quick questions, two follow-up
Please.
questions? First one is, if you can think about it for a second, can you tell everybody what your runway timeline was from when you really began with the multitude of interconnected community committees and all your interdepartment stuff that you were doing? What are we looking at?
Almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah, not
I
surprised.
wanted just to hear that out loud. And secondly, I just want to give you a Yasher Koach and just give West Hartford a shout out, because that digital piece you shared with us, which if you're comfortable, I'd love for you to send to us so we can hold on to it as an example. West Hartford does something many communities don't do with events, which is sometimes at the end of an event, which has taken all this amazing time, we just go the next day and like lie in the road somewhere, and we deserve to do that. However, West Hartford does something else, which is they tell a story about that event and they literally address every stakeholder and every piece of the puzzle. And I've known this for years. You do a film festival director report that no other community does, except now they do, because they're modeling what you're doing. So again, I just want to say congratulations. That's an enormous thing that you guys have built into the infrastructure of the way that you do your work. And I think, guys, on the call, if you want to see how that's done, and everyone can do it in their own way, it's really important to message post-event and make those connections so people understand the big picture of what's just happened.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think, we sent out like an e-blast with the links to all the photos and the videos, things like that. And then it also sent printed photos to all the sponsors, just with another thank you. So it's like you can never thank people enough. And that's just one of the reasons, one of the ways that we did that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Alana. Great. Our next guest, Marla Goldberg, the Director of Annual Giving from the Strom Jewish Community Center. Take it away, Marla.
Hi, I did not do a big presentation. I just am going to talk. I also am talking about an event we did this year in the spring, and it was an event that we brought back. It hadn't been since 2018, but it had been a successful event that had been done in the past, but everyone wanted to move away from the model, and we decided to bring it back because it was the 75th anniversary of the J being in Seattle. And we did a luncheon, and the luncheon goal is 57 minutes. So beginning to end, from when you walk in to when you leave. And so no big reception time, just check in, sit down, food's preset, and go. We decided to honor, because of the 75th anniversary, all of the living past board presidents, which helped us kind of re-engage a lot of them who, some of them had fell off our donor base completely, like lost people. It took forever to track some of these people down. But we ended up having, of the alive ones, I think we were only missing 6 out of 28. And it was a fundraising model that there was a lot of things, the parameters that were put on. I wasn't here. I didn't work here when the last time I attended, but it was, you cannot do it for more than 57 minutes, period. That's all that people want to do. That's in and out. One of the reasons that we did it is that we wanted to re-engage sort of the baby boomers, older population who don't like evening events. We had moved towards a really social party type event model, and we weren't raising very much money. It was fun, but it wasn't raising a lot of money. Anyways, we got a lot of those people back in the room. We budgeted and targeted our plans for 300 people, and we had 420. We did it in our gym, which I don't know if any of you guys know about the JCC in Seattle. It was built in 1969. It wasn't the first J, but it's the J. It has not changed one iota since 1969. Still cement, ugly outside. So trying to do this event somewhere else would be prettier, but we were like, let's do it in the gym. Let them see how ugly and desperate we need to have a new building. So we literally barely decorate. We put flowers on the table, end of story. Like no extra decorations. We did a free reception for the past presidents, invited them all early, gave them a little gift, did a little presentation for them. There was we had planned to have a keynote speaker, but that didn't end up happening. And our CEO spoke, and then one of our board members, who's really creative and funny, did a whole history poem about each one of the past presidents that were in the room and about things in Seattle, and everyone thought that was cute. We decided to do, we're a kosher style for food in the building, but we decided to do a kosher lunch, and we re-engaged a lot of the Orthodox kosher community. We normally would get maybe 3 or 4 people from that community, and we had about 25, which was huge. It's a preset lunch, so that makes it in and out fast. There was a young couple that did the ask that's super involved and engaged overall in the Jewish community, and just, highlights of the J, but younger, and they in turn brought a lot of younger people who attended the event. Also, we had 35 table captains that helped fill the room. and a lot of them filled 2 or 3 tables each. So that's why we ended up with so many people. And we raised about $50,000 in sponsorships. And that at the event, we had pledge cards on the table. There was not a raise the paddle, there was just an ask. And the table captains passed out the pledge cards, like old fashioned, old style fundraiser. And we raised $505,000 just at the event. And we have to do valet parking just because our parking is not easy. So everyone valet parked their car, so it, made the getting out was a little long, but other than that, it was fairly smooth. And everyone loved it. We got rave reviews about just having it back. People were so happy to be in the room with that many people. We maybe could have fit another 10 people, 15 people max in that room. It was so crowded you could barely move in there, but people loved that. And it was just a big success, and really happy that we decided to bring it back, and we're doing it again, and we'll probably do it again for many more years because it was just fast and easy.
Wow.
That's it.
That's incredibly successful. First question that comes to mind is, how did you capture the pledges at the event? Was there like a card at the table? Were
Yeah.
people going around, and was
There
there an
was a-
electronic,
But
system?
all of those, there was a QR code, there was a pledge card, there was and you could put a check in there if there was some OP. We got some checks. But a lot of people did it right online, like on the QR code right during the lunch. And then we got a lot of, because we have a lot of people that donate here out of donor advice funds. So we had a lot of pledges that we just entered as pledges and waiting for their money. We did count money 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after that were designated. It was called the Circle of Friends lunch. And if they designated it for that specifically, so we counted on both ends. But the 505 is just from the event. The 48,000 of sponsorships, we didn't include that in that money.
Oh, so really closer to 500.
We also got one really crazy gift, but I think it was just the timing. Like we got I think it was 85. Well, he sold stuff. It was 85,000-ish, but we didn't count it as part of the event because I think it was meant for something different, but it came that day. But we didn't count
Wow.
that.
You crushed it.
It was
Seriously.
fun.
Wow. 57 minutes. I
57.
love that. Beautiful. Anybody else have questions for Marla? Okay. Our last presenter is Roxanne Cohen, Chief Development Officer, Peninsula Jewish Community Center. Take it away, Roxanne.
All right, thank you. So first of all, I did see that there was a question for Marla that just popped up in the chat. Was it
thank
a
you.
weekday or a Sunday?
It was a Thursday, weekday.
Thursday.
And I want to say congratulations to my colleague Cambria, who was, definitely putting in a good fight in the Kahoot. And yes, Seth, I was so eager, I misspelled my name. But anyway, I was at the back of the pack, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I want to take a little bit of a different angle and talk about a very time-specific, one might say, emergency fundraising appeal, which we took on unexpectedly in August. And, August is supposed to be our time when we're kind of coming down after the close of the campaign and putting everything in place for the, fall and for the whole year. And we had a very specific need that arose. We have a key program here at the PJCC called Get Up and Go. It's a senior transportation program where we drive seniors who are temporarily or permanently unable to drive to essential appointments, doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, and other things that are very specific needs to enable them to continue living at home, living independently, improving their quality of life. We have about 175 clients, or last year we had 175 in the program, and we took them on more than 3,000 rides. So we have a few vehicles, vans that are used for this purpose. And we knew last year that, you know, there was one of the vehicles was kind of on its last legs and in and out for repairs. But, you know, we were hoping to like hold it together with masking tape and, you know, glue just to keep the program going. My colleague Nicola Burt had the foresight when submitting a request to one of the foundations, one of the local healthcare foundations that directly supports this program in the late spring. She included an additive request for $20,000 to go towards a future replacement of a van. So we had word that we had received that that foundation gift, but you know, we were kind of gonna hold on to it until we were ready. And lo and behold, over the summer, the van had to be taken out of service. So our team was asked to fix that and to help them and to not let our seniors go without this essential service. So we thought about how we could approach this without, you know, cannibalizing our, you know, plans for our annual appeal and all of our fall events. So we looked at going back about 10 years in our database, donors who had at any time given to support our older adult program. There had been actually way back at some time, you know, something that we called a van fund. We hadn't been actively fundraising for that, but we, you know, kind of dug deep and culled that list and wrote a very focused, time-limited, impact front forward, you know, urgency creating letter. And, you know, Seth, to your Kahoot question about what drives people to give, in this case, I really do believe it was the impact. We opened the letter with a quote from a participant's family, which said, my father depended on Get Up and Go to get to cardiac rehab. He can no longer drive, and it's been challenging for him to lose his independence. The program has made significant impact. We will always be grateful. Signed by the daughter of a Get Up and Go participant. And, you know, we talked in the letter about ensuring reliable transportation, about the supportive and personalized approach to improving quality of life, and called out the efforts to combat social isolation and loneliness. In fact, this program, in addition to driving to the essential appointments every other week, has on site here at the PJCC a social hour program with different educational, cultural content. We did one designated solicitation of somebody whose family has a long history here at the PJCC. She herself had been a 6-figure donor at one time. The last large gift was early in the pandemic, but she hadn't, we hadn't been successful in repeating or renewing a gift from her, but we had a feeling that this would be resonant because her late mother participated in some of our older adult programs, and it was resonant. And we told her we already had 20,000 from the foundation, so she offered a $20,000 challenge grant. So in our letter, we included these two indication of these two gifts, and that we were seeking to raise an additional $20,000 from individual donors. And the response was pretty quick. We did, you know, we did the letter. I did a personal email from me. The letter was signed by our CEO and the director of adult programs. Then I followed up with a direct email, which we sent through our Salesforce database as a campaign, which was actually something super fun. I had never done that before. So with thanks to Eddie, our operations manager. So we were able to, you know, track that that was an email that went out to that very specific population. And we had I had a few follow-up conversations. We ended up with 3 $5,000 gifts. 2 of them were new 5,000 and one was an increase from about 4. And we had one 1,800 donor. We also made clear in the letter that this was a, you know, outside of our operating budget. So our hope is to still solicit these donors who typically were annual donors also for their regular annual gift. And then we had a number of small gifts of all sizes, including from some people who were participants in the program. The last two things I'll share, number one is a note that we got from one of the Get Up and Go participants that she sent in with her gift. I'll end with that, but well, actually, I'll read the note from her. And now, by the way, in the we as follow-up, as thanks, and again in your Kahoot, you talked about how do we personally thank people. So in addition to this sort of standard thank you letter that we wrote, I asked Get Up and Go participants, I drafted a sort of template and had them do handwritten thank you notes. We only had about 25 donors to this appeal. So it was focused, it was specific, it was time limited, and it, made it very easy to do a very personalized follow-up. So we had the Get Up and Go participants do notes, and then I did I cut and paste this note from the Get Up and Go participant, which said, "How I wish the enclosed check had more zeros, but I'm sure you've heard my story many times. Elderly woman, dwindling fixed income. When I had to stop driving about 18 months ago, I had never heard of Get Up and Go. Now I can't imagine what I'd do without them. So this small contribution is for," and she listed and named the staff, the drivers, and all of the volunteers at Get Up and Go. "You're the best, and I hope you get that well-deserved new van." So that went out, and then we, after we sort of closed that campaign, we did have a couple of other gifts trickling in, which we just put towards, we didn't need it for the van, we just put it towards the program. But I got a call in early September from somebody who had last given to us in 2017. And he said, I was traveling in the summer, but I got your letter. He thought he was calling to be like the big hero to help us meet the match. But I said, well, actually, we already, we met the match and we bought the van. And he said, oh. And I said, well, the program, in an ongoing way, we fundraise for this every year, and there are needs and, the socialization elements, so on, so on. So he said, well, why don't you, just send me some more details. So we wrote up kind of a summary of, the totality of the program and the annual budget. And he sent in $10,000. So outside of the van solicitation. So I think for me, the lessons and the takeaways are, as valuable as unrestricted dollars are. And, it's kind of the gold standard. And we really are trying to have kind of one annual campaign that the more specific we can be about the need and the direct impact and target the recipients. So we've started talking more about how can we segment, how can there be a message to the young families that might be a nuanced difference to the message that we give to some of our other populations. This is how we're trying to learn from this.
Great job. Wow. And raised all that money in a short amount of time and kept the program going for all the people that really rely on it. So congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Nice to hear. Well, I want to thank Alana, Marla, and Roxanne for sharing their bright spots from 2024. I'm inspired. I hope you guys are inspired by what we just heard. In fact, I think we're going to jump into breakout rooms now into small groups, and the rest of us can share with each other maybe a little bright spot of our own from 2024. So hold on. They're going to push us into a breakout room. Then we'll come back to say goodbye in a few minutes.
To see everyone coming back. I know that was a quick breakout, but you all have each other's connections, and you can be in touch with each other through your email lists and keeping in touch through these kinds of peer community meetings. I'm going to ask Randy to unmute so she can tell you some updates. And happy holidays, everyone. Don't leave yet. Randy?
Thanks for everybody. And I know if your breakout rooms were like my breakout rooms, there's a lot more to talk about. So I'm really grateful we have this ongoing opportunity. To that end, I'm going to remind everyone that Joy talked about 2025. And as much as we honor our fearless leaders, Rick and Seth. We are also looking for new chairs for this peer community group. So if you enjoy being here and you're interested in engaging, please let Joy know. I just want to say two quick things from an announcement standpoint at JCCA that are related to funding for your communities. We spent a lot of time on this call talking about events, which is an enormous lift, but also an enormous help to your bottom line. And of course, I know you're looking at resourcing across lots of different platforms. So two quick things, some of which you may have heard before, and I'll pop things in the chat as well. One is that I have a little bit of funding left. I've given away most of it, but there is still some funding left. If you want to create a small salon community film event using Sheryl Sandberg's documentary Screams Before Silence, which is really about women's rights, listening to testimony, set, yes, post October 7th in Israel. It's an adult film. It does not need to be a film festival event. It can be 20 people in a room with a facilitated conversation, and there's $1,000 to help make that happen. It is not an onerous application. I don't want to leave any money on the table. It's a new funder. You guys know what that means. I got to give it all away so that next time I get so much more and I can give so much more back to the community. So I'll put that into the chat. Additionally, looking ahead to 2025 in a similar category, in the sense that it's Israel related, we have our Yamim grants through Mithabrim that are available, and there are two different deadlines depending on when your program is. One of them is the deadline is January 30th, the other is later in the year. The Screams Before Silence deadline is December 20th. Again, not onerous in any way for applications or anything else. So that's really what I wanted to let you know. Just in general, I think we have to not leave money on the table. And so have a conversation with your arts people, with your Jewish engagement people, with your social justice groups. See what you're thinking about doing. Make sure the left hand and the right hand are talking to each other. And if JCC Association can help resource what you're thinking about doing or help you dream bigger, we really want to do that. And so I'm going to put in the Mithabrim stuff as well. And that's what I wanted to share. And of course, you can call any of us for information, but probably me. Thanks, Joy.
Wonderful. Thank you, Randy. Those sound like great opportunities. Thank you so much to Rick and Seth and to our presenters as well. This was a fun, great way to gather. If you have any questions at all, give us a call or send an email. And I'd like to thank our colleagues as well, Randy, Michaela, and Sawyer, for helping us with this session. Have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. Great Happy New Year to you all. Best of luck with your
year end. We didn't talk about it, but I know it's the bubble over everybody's head. So everybody, good luck and run through the finish line, as we like to say, not to the finish line, through the finish line. Wishing everyone a Happy New Year.
There we go. All righty. You take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Great.